Okay, today I'm going to teach you about fraction that we multiply. Now there is a few types of so-called. Actually, I just want to introduce to you how does a fraction comes about. First, you must understand that the top here is the things that we want to look for. Let's say this is boy. Then surely this is total number of students. Imagine you're in a class. There's a group. So this is total total of the class in the group. Let's say I say this class got 40 students. This class got 40 students. This is the total. Okay. Then I told you that this is the fraction of a boy. Sorry, not fraction. This is the number of boys. Number of boys over the total number of students, which is 40. If I tell you that in this, the boys, we have, let's say 15 boys. And if I say here is 15 boys, how many girls? So naturally, you need to take this total minus this 15 boys, you get girls, right? So when you minus, you take 40 minus 15, you will get 25, sorry, 25, correct? 25. So if I want to find the fraction of a boy, so how do I write? Boy, the fraction is 15 over the total number of students, which is 40. Like a normal fraction like that. Am I correct? So you know how to get this fraction right. And after that, you can simplify it. This is 3, this is 8. Am I correct? Then you also can find girl over total, the fraction, right? Which is 25 over 40, you will get 5 over 8. Now, do you realize that these two, when you plus together, is actually one whole? Do you realize that? Now, actually, fraction is nothing new to you all, but it's just that you have to connect all the dots together, meaning put it together, what you have learned before. Now, this is the total number of boys, this is the total number of girls, and the fraction is always over the total number of the two things, okay, the total of the two things. Now, when I teach you about this, the idea of, let's say I want to look for boys, number of boys, number of boys, okay, number of boys, it will equals to the total of student, times the fraction of boys. Now, if I were to tell you, without this one, you don't know this one, if I tell you the fraction of boys is 3 over 8, then you surely write 3 over 8, the fraction. Am I correct? And you know that the question will tell you the total number of student is 40, so you will do this. So you see, 818, this 5, then you get this one 15. So you see, is it the same answer as this? Same or not? Same, right? This is the number of students, this is the number of students. So what happened is that when you times boys, when you want to look for boys, you need to times the fraction of boys. When you want to look for girls, number of girls, you need to times the fraction of girls. And it's always, the idea is times the total number of the whole class, or the total number of boys and girls. Okay? Now, this you have learned already. Now, why did I teach you to compare? Now, when I say compare, I go write total boys over total students equals fraction boys. Am I correct? Just like what we did just now here, the first one. Boys, number of boys over this one, we get the fraction of boys. This is the fraction of boys. So same goes to this. This is the total boys, the number of boys lah. Then the total students equals the fraction. Now, if I were to tell you that this fraction boys here is 1 over 2, and I tell you that this one is 10, the total student is 10. How much is the boys? Now the first question you think, 2 times what becomes 10? Times 5. Times 5, oh? So this one will also become 5. So the number of boys is 5. Now, if I use back to do this, how I do? Now, because I want to find boys, right? So, boys equals total times fraction boy. So, fraction boys is 1 over 2. Correct? Let's say this is 1 over 2. And the total number of students is 10. 10. Is it going to be the same answer as 5? 5? You see or not? It's the same. So this idea and this idea is the same. It's the same. So the first thing you must understand is fraction. How do I get fraction? It is the number of boys or the number of girls or the number of things that you want to look for over the total of number. That is the idea. But why we have two ways? Now, because why I'm teaching you this way, this is the slower way, this is the faster way. If you ask Mr. Lim which one I prefer this. Because this one you use it a lot. But I have to teach you this because this is the basic understanding. You have to know the basic before you can use this method. So I'm teaching you this basic idea, how you get the fraction, okay, before I can teach you this. But of course I already teach you this because I want to be faster. I want you to be faster. Now, you have to understand this, you also have to understand this. But which method you use, I want you to use this. Now, why I need to teach you this, the first method, is because this first method, when you want to look for a number of students, it'll be a bit complicated for you when you use this fast method. Now, let me explain to you what do I mean by that. Now, let's say you don't have total students. You have the fraction of boys. Let's say girls are okay. Fraction of girls. I tell you is 3 over 7. Then I have the number of girls. I tell you is 9. Now, Mr. Lim, how to find this? Very good question. Now, like just now I teach you girls, number of girls equals total times fraction girls. Am I correct? So fraction girls is 3 over 7. Total we don't have. Number of girls we have 9. Have you learned this before? No. But you actually can do this. This is actually algebra. Times, you bring it over, it becomes divide 3 over 7 bracket. Does this look familiar or not? Correct, right? Now when you see this divide, you have to upside down it. So this one becomes 7, this one becomes 3. You upside down the fraction, you don't upside down the front, you upside down the behind that number. Okay, behind that number, behind that fraction. So this one becomes 7 over 3, then equals 9 over 1. Because there's an invisible 1. Now, this is the bracket. What we're going to do is we're going to simplify. 3 times 7 is 21. Bottom times bottom is 1. But you will actually get 21. So the answer is actually 21. Now, if you don't believe it's 21, you try and times this with this. You simplify. 3 times 3, is it 9? Do you see or not? So what I'm trying to tell you is that this method, you need to upside down it. That's why it's a bit complicated. But if you were to use the first method was fraction girls. You know the basic idea, right? It is girls over total. Do I have the fraction girls? Fraction girl is 3 over 7. Then the number of girls, 9. This one you don't know. So how do you get this number? Times 3 times 3. So 7 times 3 you get 21. So isn't it the same answer as this one and this one? Do you understand or not? So these two methods, it is important. You need to know this method. You also need to know this method. I hope you understand, okay? Thank you.